Are you surprised at all at the Knicks' success?
To this extent, yes. And I've said this all year. Well, since about midseason. I missed by as wide a degree as any player I've covered in my career as a broadcaster, the ceiling for a player as I have with Jalen Brunson. And this is a guy that, I watch a lot of Big Five basketball. That's where I played Nova. I got to their practices and watched him. I saw a ton of games, and obviously he was a great, great college player. I thought, could Jalen Brunson be, a starting point guard on a really good team, like coming out? I wasn't sure about that. And then you saw him with what he did in Dallas when he got his opportunity, and he was obviously sensational. But still, he becomes $100+ million free agent, like the biggest free agent really to change teams practically. And I'm saying, what is his ultimate ceiling? Like, is this a 16 to 18 point a game type of point guard, which is a really nice player in the league? But to be doing this every night where now you expect 25 and 30 and 35 point, games, man, has he been impressive. So yes, I am surprised about the overall team success of the Knicks. He is by far the biggest reason. And, I just missed it on how good he could be. And I'm going to be singing his praises the rest of his career because that guy earns it all because he went out and took it.
The thing with Jalen that I think it all sort of factors into what makes him valuable, because there's a lot of guards this year that have had all NBA caliber seasons, and there's 6 spots. And look, it's unlikely Jalen gets all NBA, but it's the efficiency, it's the impact on winning, because he's doing this, his 29-game stretch since January 1, where it's 28 a game, 51% from the field, 45% from they're 19 and 10 in the games that he plays, right? It's the impact on winning. It's the elevation of Julius Randle, right? He's taken away so many ball handling responses. Julius can be a scorer, and when he's in isolation and he drives, a kick out guy. Like, Julius can be the best version of him.
Yeah.
And then the cultural impact of Jalen. Like, you factor all that in, it's just like, okay, yeah, maybe his numbers aren't as good as this guy, but I want to be clear, he's having an all NBA caliber season.
Completely agree. And for like young players, you want to look at a guy like Jalen Brunson and figure out, well, how is he getting this done? Because he's not a blur. He's not vertical. Right, he plays a grounded game. He's not blowing by anybody. He's quicker probably than he looks in his body type. He's quicker than that. Comes down to footwork, strength, IQ, confidence, and then the big one, and this is why this is translated to New York. He thrives in big moments. And we should have probably seen that from his career at Villanova. But a lot of people in his boat that were it's kind of like a backup guard, got this opportunity in Dallas, played right in the right time. Now I signed this huge deal, biggest name to change teams, because all the big contracts were retaining guys with their own team. He's like the big name that changed teams was Jalen Brunson, $100+ million, Madison Square Garden expectations. He's like, bring it all. I'm good with it. And he was from the very beginning of the season. So that final component of not being fazed by pressure, you add all that up, and this is what you get in Jalen Brunson. So you don't have to be this freak athlete, and he's proving that because he just gets where he needs to go. He's always playing at his pace. His footwork's incredible, even with all the pivots and the up and unders and all the stuff he does once he gets downhill. And then his physical strength is definitely sets him apart too. He plays through contact. He's never off balance when he drives and finishes. So you add all that up and you get this. And it's like I said earlier, I think he, Mitchell, and Sabonis are the 3 guys in their first full year this year with a new team have had by far the biggest impact. And maybe Brunson at the top of the list.
Yeah. And all 3. And I think Mitchell likely will be all NBA. Sabonis, I think, definitely will be in that 3rd center position. Jalen, by the way, fourth in the NBA in clutch points, and he's doing it on 51% from the field in clutch moments. I love that you mentioned his footwork. Yeah. To me, it's so elite.
Yeah.
When people talk about changing pace. A lot of times people are talking about changing pace with the basketball. To me, he does such a good job of changing pace with his feet.
Yeah.
And that's what sets it up. And the fact that he's now become a legitimate 40-plus three-point shooter, that you cannot play off of him. You can't go under ball screens. Like he will – I've been to a number of Knicks games this year. I've called their games. I've watched their game. Like if you go under a ball, he's going to shoot it. If you're in a drop coverage and he comes off the ball screen and you extend your defense out and he's got that little – he's going to shoot it. And he's making them at a 41% clip. That opens up everything else. Because what he wants to do, he wants to use his body and his footwork to get in the paint and shoot floaters. And because he can shoot threes so efficiently now, he can get wherever he wants to go on a basketball court.
And I think that for me is probably the biggest area which I underestimated his ability, to get to that level. I thought he's going to probably be a 33 to 34% three-point shooter. Like that's what he was going to be based on his stroke and how quick his release was or wasn't, and again, not really getting off the ground to get him off when he wants to. That all translated to an average, mediocre type of guard three-point shooter in the NBA. That has been what's transformed him into this more than anything, because he's always been he's going to be clever and he's going to do his thing with the little mid-range and the floaters and getting into the paint and pivoting around in a circle 4 times and getting guys to jump 3 times before he shoots it. Like we've seen that. Getting to this point where every time he goes up to shoot a 3, you're expecting it to go in. I didn't think I'd ever get there with him.
We hope you had fun with us today. We hope you laughed. We hope you had fun with us today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button.